the statement on the board that it wasn't a question and that there was no context clues for folks, especially trans folks, to know that this was not your belief, but this is more of a thought experiment.
Okay, would you be more comfortable if it was a question? Like if I put a question mark?
Sure.
Okay, I'm more than happy to put a question at the end.
A question is a question and not a statement. Right?
More than happy to.
Some type of warning or a statement of like what you're doing on another board so people can walk by and like try and understand that. Because from afar it looks...
This is a thought experiment.
Yeah.
They're literally telling him, these are adults that are telling him maybe a trigger warning sign next to what you're doing. I mean, how are these people even, how do they even exist?
This is what we're asking people.
I'm more than happy to do that.
And then that way it can kind of...
I'm more than happy to do that. I only have one board, but I'm more than happy to put on this is a thought experiment and put a question mark. If I put that on the end, would all of the concern vaporize?
No, probably not, because we're talking about real humans with their lived experience and their position.
What did I just say about no good faith argument ever? It's simply to disrupt.
I'm just wondering, like, are any of you all like trained professionals in trauma-informed care? Like, if a transgender individual were to come to the space and participate, and then there was a triggering response where they needed emotional support, like, are you ready to support that? Because this conversation can bring up a lot of emotions, and the people that are kind of working within it could be really triggered. But if no one's there as like an advocate or support, it could be pretty detrimental to the community you're asking. So I just want to like frame that. If you're not having like an advocate there as someone that can like be an emotional support or regulation for the people that are potentially harmed or triggered in this conversation, whether they're participating or not, like that's a potential thing to think about and could be a flaw in the system. Because you need to have someone to be able to support that emotionally, mentally, and for people's trauma.
So you guys. Okay, so she's saying now they need a trained professional that is able to babysit adult babies. Sometimes you don't need to push back on them. Sometimes you can just let them say what they need to say, ask some reasonable questions, and that's it. This is all the video needs to show to change people's minds when it comes to saying, okay, these woke college students are actually out of their minds. I'm gonna run away from that because they see how ridiculous it looks on camera. Two things that are super interesting about this, right? She's talking about you need trained professionals that are here. All of these people just said that they're in the social work kind of program. I would imagine that they're specializing or very interested in this topic. That's probably one reason why they said that, because that would be their idea of their job. That's what they get paid to do. That's why she brought that up, because in her head, she's that important person, that trained professional that could be there to watch after students that, oh my gosh, they suffered by having a conversation with another adult and it was respectful. Oh gosh. But also, this is actually another example of that sort of obsession with authority. We had that Moms for Liberty video that I did recently where the ladies were asking me, are you a librarian? How can you have an opinion about these books being in schools if you're not a librarian? If you're not a trained professional, you literally can't do anything or say anything. I mean, that's kind of where they go with this. It's more of a lazy argument instead of actually something that they truly believe, I would argue. You know, they just kind of want a cheap argument. Are you a trained professional? Are trained professionals here? It's just another one of their bad faith arguments.
So the people who watch this, because this is being videoed, do you think that the people who watch this, who don't agree with you, as a result of having watched this, will then agree with you?
I'm not asking them to agree with me.
But don't you want to facilitate social change?
I'm asking you to have a different perspective to understand where we're coming from, because we came down here to try and understand where you're coming from.
Did you?
I don't think that anyone...
Did you really though?
...to decide if this is...
Okay, but you have to, please be honest with me. Is that really why you came down, to understand?
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah, we were very...
Okay, and what is your understanding of why I'm doing this?
You guys care about how you're...
It's not impact.
What, I'm sorry, what? I haven't heard from you. What is it?
It's not.
I just want to tell you, we don't care about your thought experiment. We care about
The impact.
the impact that it's having on...
Okay, so you didn't come down to understand why I'm doing this then?